What does Lad McConkey bring to the Chargers? Does he have the potential to be a real wide receiver one? Well, we're going to take a look at his profile, his usage, his advanced stats, and then break down what we've seen from him on film to get an idea of his strengths and weaknesses, how he's used, and what we might be able to expect from him throughout his NFL career. And so when we think about Lad McConkey, he's 6 foot 186. That's somebody that, depending on their athleticism and their skills, could potentially be an X, probably somebody that would be a flanker or a slot, though. Looking at his athleticism, he ran a 4.39 40-yard dash, which is 95th percentile. While he does have decent long speed, I wouldn't say it's the best, but I would say he is a very quick accelerator. He is rather quick to get to his top speed. Looking at his speed score, which is height and weight adjusted, that's 68th percentile, so really good. He has a 60th percentile burst score, that's his broad and vertical jump, and his catch radius is 57th percentile. He didn't do enough of the agility drills, but as you'll see on film, you shouldn't be concerned in the least about that. But somebody with this profile, depending on their ability to beat press coverage and win vertically, could be an X, but it is somebody that would definitely be an option for a slot or a Z receiver. And so I took a look at weeks 1 through 17 and wide receivers with at least 75 targets. That was a sample size of 44 wide receivers. Lad McConkey in this time span ran 449 routes, which is 93.5% of the team routes. He did miss week 14 with a shoulder injury, but when we look at his utilization, he runs 70.4% of his routes from the slot and 29% out wide. And so in general, he is going to be a slot receiver, but he does play some Z and a little bit of X, but mostly slot. And in my opinion, that is the best fit for him. I don't think he's one of these traditional alpha wide receiver ones that's just on an island by himself as an X, but it really doesn't matter. In today's NFL, you don't have to be that type of receiver to be a wide receiver one. Looking at his yards per out run, yeah, his 2.35 overall are 8th in the entire sample size here. He is that good. It also does help having Justin Herbert as your quarterback, make no mistake, but that's definitely not a mistake. Looking at his PFF receiving grade, his 80.4 overall grade is 19th in the sample size, so around middle of the pack, but once again, this is among wide receivers with at least 75 targets. If you're a better wide receiver, you're in general going to garner more targets. It's pretty rare for somebody that's a mid wide receiver or worse to garner quite a bit of targets. That would just necessitate them either being in a scheme that hyper targets a specific position in the offense, or if that wide receiver is just that much better than the rest of them, even if he's not that good himself. But in general, you have very good wide receivers in this sample. Looking at his yak per reception, his 4.9 or 17th, so middle of the road there. He's pretty good after the catch, though. You'll see that on film for sure. Looking at his missed tackles forced, his 12 are tied for 15th. That's good. His 12 contested catches are tied for 18th. That's good as well. Looking at his targets, his 104 ranked 21st in the sample size, but his 77 receptions are 17th, so we like that. His 1,054 receiving yards, however, are 11th. And so despite having the 21st most targets in this sample size, he has the 11th most receiving yards. And so he is good at maximizing his yards after catch ability. You will see that on film. And he has 7 receiving touchdowns this season, which is 10th in the sample size. And so overall, despite being connected to a really good quarterback for sure, this tells you that this guy is a very good wide receiver. Oh, did you not see the contested catch rate? His 60% on 15 contested targets is 5th in the entire NFL. Yeah, but even better, look at his win rate versus man coverage. His 42.3% rank 4th in the entire NFL. You will see on film, this guy is a master separator and uncoverer. Digging further into Lad McConkey, his PFF grade versus man coverage specifically of 85.3 is 9th in the entire NFL. He is better against man coverage, in my opinion, than zone coverage, but he's still really good against zone coverage. You will definitely see him being able to find the soft spots in the zone, pacing his routes well. You'll see that as well. And his yards per out run versus man of 3.14 is 4th in the NFL. Like I said earlier, playing with Justin Herbert is absolutely going to help you out, but you're not 4th in the NFL in yards per out run versus man coverage if you are not extremely talented. Looking at his PFF grade versus zone, his 72.5 is 16th, So he's not quite as good against zone coverage, but he's still really good. That's 16th in the NFL. His 2.18 yards per out run versus zone is 8th. And so when you're 4th in yards per out run versus man and 8th in yards per out run versus zone, you're a pretty good wide receiver. Looking at his PFF grade on screens, his 45.5 grade is 109th. He hasn't had a ton of screens. He's pretty good in the open field, but I wouldn't say per se that he is the best at following blockers in that regard. So that's not necessarily his strength, but as you can see, he has a lot of strengths. Looking at his PFF grade in the slot, his 76.9 is 25th. So not elite, but 25th in the NFL is pretty good. And his first downs caught of 49 is tied for 15th in the NFL. So he's a reliable chain mover. And like I said earlier, playing with Justin Herbert helps. His 6.9 target accuracy grade is 10th in the NFL. His 332 yards after catch are 20th in the NFL. He's good at yards after catch for sure. His yards per team pass attempt of 2.38 is 8th in the NFL. His 5.73 target quality rating is 17th. And his 79.8% catchable target rate is 11th. When we look at his target share and target rate, they aren't the best. His 19.9% target share is 45th, and his 24.4% target rate is 32nd. So those marks aren't that of an elite wide receiver, but we see that he is incredibly efficient with his targets. And so we see that he's very good against man, he's very good against zone, and he's pretty good after the catch as well, but he's also receiving some really good targets in terms of the accuracy and catchable target percentage. But what do we see from him on film? Let's take a look. Taking a look at week 1, we have Ladd McConkey right here in the slot. He is running a shallow cross. You're going to get the same action from Quentin Johnston. As far as the Raiders are concerned, they are going to be in a cover 0. And so this guy is going to be in man coverage against Dobbins. Man coverage, man coverage. This safety is in straight man coverage with Ladd McConkey, and this guy is on Quentin Johnston. And then you have your middle linebacker blitzing. And so, like I said, a cover 0. And so it's up to Ladd McConkey to win one-on-one against this safety. And he's going to do that, but that's not what's impressive about this play. Watch what he does after the catch. And so you see right here, he is absolutely wide open. Gets the ball, looks and assesses the situation around him, breaks that tackle, jukes the other guy out of his shoes. Easy walk and touchdown. And so, like I said, nothing insane from a route running perspective. He just, ran his route. He happened to be open. But after the catch, this guy is really underrated. And this was his first game as well. And so in that first clip, we saw that Ladd McConkey, after the catch, is pretty good. Here, we're going to get an example of his really good route running. I personally think that he's a top 10 route runner already. What he's going to do is he's going to fake a sit, but then he's going to spin around and head vertically downfield. He is going to be one-on-one in man coverage against number 2 here, and you're going to get man coverage throughout, and you are going to have a cover 1 at the top, so one deep middle field safety. And so on this play, look at the agility and the route running. Now, the pass is going to be incomplete. If you look at Justin Herbert, he didn't really get his feet set. He had to hop before he threw this pass, and so it's going to be inaccurate. But as far as Ladd McConkey is concerned, look at this route. And so you see, he stops right here. The cornerback is absolutely going to bite on this. And then, whoop. Goodness. And so if you look at Justin Herbert, you'll see that he had to kind of hop a little bit and fade away as he was throwing this pass. But as far as Ladd McConkey is concerned, his route running is absolutely superb. Looking at week 3, we have our first negative play. Ladd's going to be in the slot right here. He is running an out. The Steelers are going to be in a cover 3, so you're going to have your 3 deep third defenders with your underneath coverage. And this cornerback is going to be acting in man coverage, so he's going to match with McConkey on the out route. He is going to get a press on him. The thing here is, though, Ladd McConkey is going to win on this route, but he's going to drop the ball. And on the season, per PFF, Ladd McConkey has 6 drops, which is 12th most in the NFL. Now, that is going to come with receiving more targets. Malik Neighbors, for instance, has 7 drops. So I'm not saying that as though it's going to plague him throughout his career or anything, or cause him to not be targeted as much. The more targets you get, the more drops you're going to have. That's just the way it works. but this is something that we see from time to time with Lad. And so it's a good route. He beats the press. He just, once again, ends up dropping it. So like I said, out of all the things that could be wrong, you are going to see drops from time to time, and so it's really nothing to be concerned about, but it does happen on his film. And in week 4, we have a slant route by McConkey. He's going to line up in this slot. This is actually an RPO where you're going to have double slants, and then you're going to have Justin Herbert reading the linebackers, and they are going to bite for the run fake, and so they're going to head upfield, which is going to open up a soft spot right here. The Chiefs are going to be in straight cover 1 man, and so you're going to have a deep midfield safety here. This safety would theoretically be the robber, but he is going to bite for the play action, and then you're going to have man coverage right there. And so on this play, it's a good example of Ladd McConkey's yards after catch ability, the speed that he possesses. I think people really underestimate how fast he is. He did run a 4.39 40-yard dash, and that absolutely shows up here on film. And look at the nasty cut here. Whoop. And if number 6 didn't have such a good angle, that is a touchdown too. But like I said, look at this cut right here. Whoop. Man, if that safety didn't have such a good angle, that's a touchdown. And again, in the Chiefs game, we have Ladd McConkey right here. He just went in motion. What we're going to get here is a post by QJ to get the deep half safety here busy with covering him. And then you're going to get Ladd McConkey on an out and up. It's a really good play call and should have worked because the Chiefs are going to be in cover 2. And so you're going to have your 2 flat zone defenders here, your 2 deep half safeties up here, and then your underneath coverage here. And so QJ's route is going to take this safety out of the play, at least initially. And then Ladd McConkey is going to find himself open against this flat defender here. And he's going to bend his route towards the middle of the field where the opening in the zone is. It's just that the pass rush of the Chiefs is going to disrupt this play. But I'll show you what I mean. And so you can see that Ladd McConkey is going to bend his route upwards, but you're going to get the pass rush here that is going to, well, he's going to hit Justin Herbert. He's going to break the sack, though, so it's going to disrupt the play. But you can see that Ladd McConkey is going to work inwards, and he should have a soft spot on the zone right here, but Justin Herbert had to break this sack. And so Justin Herbert's going to be really late with this throw, and it's actually almost going to get intercepted. He's very fortunate there. But as far as Ladd McConkey, he understands how to run his routes, and he has a really good feel for the soft spots in the zone coverage. And I really love how intelligent of a route runner he is. It's just unfortunate, once again, on that play that the pass rush did get in the way of a touchdown. All right, so on this one, I'm not going to give you the sideline view on this one because the sun, as you can see on the left side of the field, it was going to make it really impossible to see what's happening here. And so on this side of the screen, you're going to eventually see Ladd McConkey running a 9 route against Riley Moss. So one deficiency in his game is that he just doesn't have the best deep speed and separation ability on linear routes down the field. And so what you're going to see is he doesn't really gain any separation here. And he's just not the biggest guy, so he's not going to be able to sky up in Moss, Riley Moss here. And so I'll show you what I mean. And like I said, you're going to see separation all over the film. He's a really good receiver, but this just is one thing that he doesn't bring to the table. And so you can start to see him now. He really doesn't have any separation, and he's not going to be able to sky up for this pass. It is a little bit ahead of him, but once again, if he was a bigger receiver, he would have been able to grab this. And he potentially, if he had better long speed, would have more separation there. And so I'm really just looking for different things I can show you that are deficiencies to his game. There are a billion strengths. It's just, when you're not the biggest receiver, there are just some limitations that you're going to have. And against the Broncos, we're going to have another negative play here. This really was, in my opinion, his worst game, but he has plenty of ridiculous games too, and we'll get on to that. Here he's going to be running a dig. The Broncos are going to be in a cover 0, and so you're going to get man coverage throughout, and you are going to have this corner on him because KJ is going to head outwards, and then you're going to have this safety on Ladd at one-on-one coverage with all of these guys, all 7 of them, blitzing against Justin Herbert. And so on this play, Ladd McConkey is going to be wide open. The pass is going to be a little bit behind him, but you would still prefer that he's able to catch this because he is going to be able to get both hands on the football here. And so I love the route. He gains a ton of separation. It is a little bit behind him, but he does get both hands on it and drops it. So like I said, it's not as if he was wide open. It was a perfectly placed ball, and it's just 100% on him. But he is a really good receiver, and as your number 1 receiver, you really hope to catch that. If you like what you're hearing and seeing so far, feel free to like and subscribe. I love doing these player breakdowns where we take a look at their profile, usage, advanced stats, and then break down what we see from these guys on film. Keep in mind, I'm going to be doing all of these rookie wide receivers. I've just made videos on Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., Rome Odunze, Marvin Harrison Jr., and the like. And so you're going to see all the rookie wide receivers, Brock Bowers, a couple running backs, and all of the quarterbacks except for J.J. McCarthy. So stay tuned in for those. Thanks. Taking a look at Week 8 against New Orleans, this, in my opinion, was Ladd McConkey's best game. He went bonkers. On 6 targets, he went 6 for 111 and 2. Here, he is going to run a nasty slot fade. I'm serious. This is nasty. So, like I said, he's running a slot fade. The Saints are going to be in straight cover 1, and it's going to be a cover 1 blitz. So you're going to get man coverage throughout with a deep middle field safety. On this play, the release is good. The way he paces his route is incredible. It's an absolute dot. And then after the catch, Ladd McConkey is fantastic in space. And so he slow plays the release and then bursts. Turns around to see where the ball is. It's an absolute dot from Justin Herbert. Gets the ball, swerves around to Tyrann Mathieu. Just fast enough to beat that guy, and then all the way to the end zone. This was a remarkable play. I just love the way he slow plays that release. Good ball skills, amazing yards after catch ability, just fast enough to get it done. Really good spatial awareness. What a gem. And here against the Bengals, we have Ladd McConkey right here. First of all, you are going to see masterful work in terms of his diamond release. He isn't going to get a ton of separation, though. He does want the inside leverage here, which is why he's going to run the diamond release. He's running a slant. Now, he isn't going to get any separation on that, despite a very good attempt to do so. But Justin Herbert is going to roll out to the right. So what Ladd McConkey is going to do is he notices this and turns right around, gets a ton of separation, and uncovers himself to save Justin Herbert here. And so he is just such an intelligent route runner. Against the Bengals here, they are going to be in a cover 3. And so you have your 3 deep third defenders, and then you're underneath the coverage. DJ Turner here is going to match Ladd, though, so he's going to be acting in man coverage. But like I said, there isn't a ton of separation, but look at the intelligence on display here to uncover himself. And so beautiful diamond release, gets the leverage he wants, isn't open, but he sees Justin Herbert scrambling to the right, so he's going to turn right on around, get a ton of separation. Gets it. Now, he is going to get hurt on this play. He's injured his shoulder a couple times this season. And so one thing about him is he isn't the most durable wide receiver. He did have injury history throughout college, kind of like Puka Nacua. But when he is on the field, this is what you get. Somebody that is a masterful uncoverer at the wide receiver position. Beautiful release. Really good job to make himself open. Reliable hands right here. And first down. Here against the Ravens, he is in a bunch right here. He is going to be running a drive route right here. The Ravens are going to be in a cover 3. And so you have your 3 deep third defenders. Marlon Humphrey, though, right here is going to be acting in man coverage against Ladd McConkey. And so on this play, he is just going to burst off the line of scrimmage. And Marlon Humphrey is a very good cover corner. And so just look at this. Boom. Takes advantage of Washington there, kind of getting in the way of Marlon Humphrey. Gets enough separation. Isn't really able to do too much after the catch. Humphrey's a pretty good tackler. But look at the get off on the line of scrimmage right here. Zoom. And so it's just another thing that he possesses. He doesn't have to hit you with a foot fire. He can just burst off the line of scrimmage. Here against the Falcons, we have Ladd McConkey right here. He is running a crosser, and you're going to get a dig route behind him. The Falcons are going to be in a cover 3, and so you're going to have your 3 deep third defenders. This guy is going to act in man coverage and match, though, so he's not technically going to be a deep third. And you're going to have your underneath coverage here. This linebacker is going to shade a little bit this way, but he's not going to go far enough. And so Ladd McConkey is going to feel the opening in the zone, and he's going to just slow down his route so that he can be wide open for Justin Herbert. And so it's a really good example of his spatial awareness, the pacing of his route, and once again, just how intelligent of a route runner he is. And so see right here, he slows down, gets the ball. You'll see he swerves around the safety. He is going to get both hands on the ball here, but it's still going to get poked out. And so he did fumble. He wasn't running recklessly with the ball. It is a negative that he fumbled, but I think that was just a one-off thing. He did what he could. He put both hands on it. But like I said, really good feel for zone coverage. Found the soft spot, kind of slowed down just to make sure he didn't run into trouble there, and did his best to hold on to the ball. It did get poked out, but overall, really good play by Ladd McConkey. Here against the Buccaneers, I know this is just a 7-yard gain on a speed out, but look at the sharp angle that he achieves here. This is a ridiculous angle. So you're going to get cover 3 here by the Bucs with your underneath coverage. And so he is going to have off coverage, which is going to make it pretty easy for his speed out. And so it's not as if he did anything ridiculous to get a bunch of separation, but look at the angle that he achieves here. Ridiculous. Look at that angle. Oh my gosh. Oh, that is such a good route. There's just no way that route gets undercut. What a route. And on this final play, we have QJ running a crosser, and you're going to get Ladd faking a crosser before returning inside and sitting. This is a marvelous route. The Patriots are going to be in what I believe to be a cover 3. It's pretty condensed, but you're going to get your underneath coverage here. And so Ladd is going to get wide open on this route. This guy is absolutely a top 10 route runner. Look at this. This is marvelous. Oh my goodness. Oh. Yeah, man, what a lad. And so when we think about Ladd McConkey, remember that he was 6 foot 186. He generally isn't used as an X wide receiver. He can beat press coverage, but he's not, the most physically dominant wide receiver by any stretch of the imagination. But he is an incredible route runner. He's an intelligent route runner. He finds the soft spots in the zone, paces his routes, has a tremendous release package, a good, very good yards after the catch ability for sure. And so while he might not be your traditional wide receiver 1, the big dominant ball winning X wide receiver isolated by himself on the outside, in my opinion, he is absolutely a number 1 wide receiver. We have players like Amon-Ra St. Brown who are wide receiver 1s for their teams. And while they can play an X, they're generally not your traditional wide receiver 1. Times are changing. Looking at his usage, he does play 70.4% of his snaps from the slot and 29% out wide. So he's a slot wide receiver, but he's not limited to the slot by any stretch of the imagination. His PFF receiving grade of 80.4 is 19th in the entire NFL. His 12 missed tackles forced are tied for 15th. He's very good after the catch. He's pretty slippery. He's a masterful uncoverer. We saw that he's an advanced route runner. He has really good pacing in his routes. And remember, while he is connected to Justin Herbert, he has a 42.3% win rate versus man coverage. That's 4th in the entire NFL. And his PFF grade versus man of 85.3 is 9th. His yards per route run versus man of 3.14 is 4th. And so you have multiple reasons to believe he is one of the best man-beating wide receivers as a rookie. And he's not even a slouch against zone coverage either. His PFF grade versus zone of 72.5 is 16th, and his 2.18 yards per out run versus zone are 8th. And so what we have here is somebody that can be used in general in multiple positions. You don't want him to necessarily be your X a lot of the time, but he can do it. But he's connected to a really good quarterback. He's adept at beating man and zone, and he's a complete wide receiver with a magnificent release package. And so, in my opinion, I think he is a wide receiver one. I think we can expect much better from him in the future, especially being connected to a quarterback like Justin Herbert. But what do you think? Do you think he has what it takes to be a wide receiver one? Are you a little bit higher than me on him, a little bit lower? Let me know below in the comment section and let me know why. With that being said, if you like what you've seen and heard, feel free to like and subscribe. It's a free and easy way to support the channel, and I'd really appreciate it. And make sure to check out my other videos that I've made previously on Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., Roma Dunze, Marvin Harrison Jr., and make sure you check out my other videos that will be coming out as well. I'm going to be doing all the rookie wide receivers, Brock Bowers, a couple of the running backs, and all 5 starting quarterbacks in the better rookies, with the exception of J.J. McCarthy because he didn't play. So stay tuned for those. Thanks.